Well, hello, my friends. When you get here, make sure to stop and say hi. Let me know you're here. I'm going to play a song while we are waiting for all of our friends to catch on. It's called Full Armor of God, and it's by Kids Spring Children's Ministry. It's a lot of fun. It reminds us to put on the full armor of God. And can you guess what we are talking about today? We are talking about the armor of God and how it's so important to put on the full armor of God. And we're going to be talking about each different part of armor. So this one is not necessarily going to be in your adventure Bibles, but it might be in your parents' real Bible. So they might have a Bible that has it in there. And that you can read later on, but it's from Ephesians 6:10 through 17. So we're going to kind of go through the different pieces of armor. So why would someone need to wear armor? Can you guess? Would they need it to go outside? Probably not. Would they need it to go get the mail? Probably not. I think they would need it to go into battle, right? They need it to go into battle because they're going into battle against an enemy, somebody who is threatening to attack. So they put on the armor. Now here you see my lovely soldier, and he's got on his full armor. So he has a helmet on, he has a shield, he has a breastplate, he has a belt, he has a sword, he has shoes on. He is ready to go into battle. Well, my friends, we are told that we are going to battle on a daily basis. Now, this isn't a battle against the coronavirus, or a battle against, people like in the world. This is a battle against the devil. This is a battle against the evil one. We are going into battle, but we don't go into battle alone. We go into battle with him by our side. So we have different parts that we get to go into battle with. So the first part, and you're probably wondering, well, what do I go into battle with? So this is the first one. We go into battle with the belt of truth. Now you might be like, a belt? Why does that have to matter in armor? I don't need a belt to go into armor. But if you didn't have a belt to go into armor with, you would end up not being able to put certain things. So why people would have a belt of armor, why that was important, is because they could end up putting certain weapons into their belt. And that would hold them in place so that they had more freedom with their hands. So this is right here, the belt of truth. So the belt supported, the belt supported a soldier's weapons. Jesus is our support. He is the way and the truth and the life. So we put on the belt of truth. Now the belt of truth is found in God's word. The truth that we know we are children of God, that you are a child of God, and no one can take that truth away from you. No one can take away the belt of truth from you. So we have the belt of truth, right? So here is our belt of truth. The next one we are going to talk about is the shield of faith. So you see, the shield is protecting the soldier, right? The shield of faith. So the shield protected the soldier from the flaming arrows. In faith, we trust that Jesus will shield us from evil. So when we have our belt of truth, the reminder that we are God's child and He is protecting us and He is with us and He is supporting us and He is loving us, we have that around us. And then not only does He give us that reminder of the truth, He gives us a shield of faith that we can hold up and we can protect ourselves with. He gives us that. So we have the shield of faith. We have the breastplate of righteousness, which is right here. It is the breastplate of righteousness. Now the breastplate protected the soldier's body. The right behavior Jesus taught protects us from evil. So we put on the breastplate of righteousness to protect our body, just like a soldier puts it on to protect his body, because that's the most important part for a soldier. This is one of the most important parts, because if they got hit, they would be down. But this is talking about we put on the breastplate. It is the right behavior Jesus taught us and protects us from evil. So Jesus has given us some commands to live by, right? He wants us to be nice to one another. He wants us to follow what our mom and dad tells us. He wants for us to be caring and kind and loving. But He also wants us to follow some other rules that protect us. That we shall not murder, we shall not steal, or we shall be with Him always, and that we should protect the Sabbath day and keep it holy. He gives us all these commands because He wants for us to be protected. He wants for our heart to be protected. So we have the breastplate. So remember, we have the breastplate of righteousness, we have the shield of faith, and we have the belt of truth. Got those? All right. Our next one, this one's pretty important. The helmet of salvation. Well, why is a helmet so important? Because if someone hit your head, you would be out, right? You'd be down for the count. So the helmet was so important for a soldier. It was so important for them to have it. The helmet of salvation is important for us. So it says on here, the soldier's helmet helped save him from harm. Jesus is our salvation from sin and evil. This is something, remember when I said the belt of truth is something that no one could take away from you? That truth that is found in Jesus, that truth that is found in His word is something that nobody can take away from you. Not a single person. This helmet of salvation is also something that no one can take away from you. This is a gift that God has given us, in grace and love and in Jesus. It is our protection from all evil that God has given us. So we put the helmet on. So we've got our helmet, we've got our shield, we've got our breastplate, we've got our belt. Now we need something to help fight, right? Because all of this stuff has been talking about being protected, right? It's not even talking about actually going into battle. It's just all this protective gear, which is so important to be protected. But then we have the sword of the Spirit. This is something that God gives to us. And it's so important for a soldier to have some type of weapon to help protect himself, not only, but also to help him fight, to fight for the truth. So on here, the sword of the Spirit. The sword is a powerful weapon. It represents the word or Spirit of God, which is our weapon against evil. You see that? The word and Spirit of God, which is our weapon against evil. This one is one that we pick up whenever we pick up our Bible, whenever we go to prayer, whenever we are speaking the truth in love to others. We are picking up the sword of the Spirit and we are ready to fight off evil. We have the sword of the Spirit. So we've got the sword of the Spirit. Now there's one last piece. So we went over the helmet, we went over the breastplate, we went over the shield, the belt, and the sword. There's one other important piece. Can you guess what it is? It's the shoes. We need shoes to go into battle. And these ones are the shoes of readiness and peace. A soldier's shoes made him ready for battle. The peace of Jesus makes us ready to stand against evil. These shoes right here make us ready to go and spread that word. Last week on Friday, I gave you a challenge. And the challenge was to go and spread the love of Jesus to someone that you know. So you were to go and either you could do something on your window, you could do some chalk drawings, you could write a letter. I saw so many cool things that you guys did. There was chalk drawings and there was letters being written to grandma or grandpa. There was letters being written to friends. And that made me so happy to see. It made me so excited to see you guys with the readiness, the shoes of readiness and peace, to bring that message to your friends and to your family. And this is a shoe that we put on daily. All of these things God tells for us to put on daily. Why do you think he tells us to put it on daily? I mean, for a soldier, do you think that they need to put on their protective gear daily? Yeah, they do, because they're going into battle. Just like God tells us, we are going into battle daily. And so he reminds us that we should be putting on the full armor of God daily. And you might be like, well, how do I put on the full armor of God? Well, I have a devotion for you and a lesson that we're going to practice in just a second, but I'm going to read a devotion for you. And it's from Grace for the Moment, and it's by Max Lucado. So I'm going to read this to you, and it says, making God part of your day. Ephesians 6:18. So this is right after they talk about the armor of God. Pray in the Spirit at all times. Pray with all kinds of prayers and ask for everything you need. So, how do you make God part of your day all day long? How do you know when his unseen hand is on your shoulder and his whispering voice is in your ear? Well, how do you know? How can you and I learn to hear and know the voice of God? Here are a few ideas. Are you ready? Give God your waking thoughts. So when you wake up in the morning, before you face the day, face the Father. Before you step out of bed, pray that God will guide your steps that day. You've already started to put on the full armor of God. Give God your waiting thoughts. How many of you guys are waiting right now? You're waiting to go outside. You're waiting to go and play with friends. You're waiting to go and see your family. You're waiting to go back to school. You're doing a lot of waiting right now. And so give God your waiting thoughts. Spend time with him being still and quiet. Wait to hear his voice. Give God your whispering thoughts. Your whispering thoughts. Just imagine every moment as a chance to talk to God. I don't just have to talk to God when I'm here at snack time with Jess. I can talk with God all day long. And he's listening to me and he hears me. Give God your end of the day thoughts. As you settle into bed, let your mind settle on him. End the day as you start it by talking with God. So that was our little devotion part. So not only are we, when you wake up in the morning, maybe you can just say a simple, God, lead me today. And maybe when you go to bed at night, you can say, God, thank you for today. And maybe it would be as simple as if you're driving in the car, you can say, God, show me the way. Or maybe you are taking a bath and you can say, God, thank you for washing away my sin. We can make God part of our day, and we can put on this full armor of God every single day, as long as we go to him and we're in his word and we're talking with him. Now, why is it so important to put on the full armor of God? Well, I have a lesson for you. So I have a bowl of water, and I have my snack for the day. And so you can try this at home. If you have some oranges and some water, you can try this at home. I'm just going to back this up so you can be able to see it. So if I have the orange has an armor around it, right? It has the orange peel. Now, if I ended up taking off this armor and not having it on, what do you think would happen? Do you know? So if I take off the armor of God, if I'm not putting it on a daily basis, my orange is not going to be protected. So when I put this orange into the water, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think it's going to float to the top or sink to the bottom? Let's try. Ready? So I put it into the water. What happened, my friends? Can you see it? Did it float on top of the water or did it sink to the bottom? It sank to the bottom because it doesn't have the full armor of God. Now, if I take my orange here that is protected and has the armor around it, and I put it into the water, what is it doing? Can you see? Here, I'll lift it up so you can see. It's floating on the water. It's floating. Here, let me show you. See? Where one of them has sank to the bottom, the one with the armor on it stays at the top. This is why it's so important to put on the full armor of God. When we don't have the full armor of God, we are like the orange that doesn't have the armor. When things get hard or difficult, we start to sink. But when we have the full armor of God, no matter what comes our way, we will still stay floating. We will still stay in peace and calm because we have God with us. We have the armor of God keeping us strong and protecting us. And you guys have that armor too. This isn't just an armor for me. This is an armor for you. And God calls us to put on the full armor of God each and every day. And he helps us to do it too. Remember all of these? It talked about the sword of the Spirit, or that we have the breastplate of righteousness, or we have the belt of truth. And through it all, it talked about how Jesus is protecting us. He is helping us to put on that full armor of God. Well, I hope that you guys remember that. I hope that during this time that maybe things are scary and you feel kind of sad or feel like you're having to wait on a bunch of things, or maybe you're just kind of feeling blah. And you wish you could be going out and doing all these things. And I hope that you put on that full armor of God, that full trust in him, because he's with you and he's with me and he's with our whole entire world. He has got everybody in his hands. And when we put on that full armor, we can be able to trust in that truth that he gives us. Isn't that cool? It's so cool. Well, my friends, we are going to go into prayer, but I have a challenge for you. So here's my challenge. Are you ready? My challenge for you is to put on the armor of God. So whatever that might look like to you, maybe you are going to create some armor. Maybe it is that you do one of the armor pieces. So maybe it is by reading God's word. Maybe it's showing me your favorite Bible verse, whatever it is, or favorite Bible story. Maybe it's putting on the full armor of God. Maybe you have some play outfits and things like that. Maybe it's putting on that type of armor. Whatever it is, I want to see a picture or a video or something of you putting on the full armor of God. Does that sound cool? Awesome. I'm so excited to see your pictures and your videos of you putting on the full armor of God. Well, my friends, we are going to pray, and I am so excited to see you back here on Wednesday. We have got some fun things for you this week. I have some fun things coming up as we prepare for Easter next week, so I'm looking so forward to having you guys join me. But we're going to join together in prayer. So if you can fold your hands, and we're going to repeat after me. Ready? Dear Jesus, thank you for this awesome day. Help me to put on the full armor of you. Help me to spread your love to everyone I know. Thank you for always being with me. And all God's children said, Amen. I'm so glad that you guys could join me. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. All right. Bye.